Morning, everyone. We'll call the Montgomery County Planning Commission's regular monthly meeting for December 13th to order. Let the record show at this point we do have a quorum. We get a text from Jill. She got a accident in the turnpike holding her up. And I believe Bob, I spoke to you yesterday. He's supposed to be here. Have we heard from Obed and Nicole?
Not Obed, but if you get a lunch on the front.
Okay, so we're expecting it. Okay. All right, well, we do have a quorum, so we'll continue to move on with our business. Are there any board comments before we get started?
I just wanted to publicly express our appreciation to Meadowwood for the great hospitality they offered when we did the Montgomery Awards there. So I'm sure you thanked them profusely as I did at the time we were there. It was great seeing their whole setup, the inside. We saw the outside when we were there, but we never saw kind of the inside. And they have good food.
Yeah.
So they had really good food. So
I've been back a couple times for this, grilled cheese and the
right. Remember, an army runs on its stomach, Stephen.
I just trample along slowly. They don't recognize it. Any other board comments? Okay. First order of business is to approve the minutes. So before us, we have, do I have a motion to approve the board meeting minutes for our November 15th, 2023 meeting? So moved. Second. Any comments or corrections on the meeting minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Meeting minutes have been approved. And then we move on to public comment. Is there any public comment prior to us getting into our agenda? Public comment?
Yes.
Anybody in the room, public or staff?
No.
Yeah, I got it. None? Okay, anybody online?
Yes, good morning. My name is Sidel Zove. I'm a resident of White Marsh Township. And I've spoken to this group previously regarding your Pikes project and its potential impact on the Corson homestead at Butler and Germantown Pikes. And I'm here today for two reasons, one of which is to address the Airy Street prison, and the other is to circle back and talk about the Corson homestead. And I will do my best to be brief. I had an email exchange with Scott France and back in the end of November, in which I expressed my view that I hope that the Planning Commission staff could weigh in with the county commissioners and the Assets and Infrastructure Department with regard to the creation and distribution of an RFI for the repurposing, redevelopment, and hopefully saving of the historic Napoleon LeBrun designed Airy Street prison in the heart of historic Norristown. And I was pleased to hear from Mr. France that in fact he would be meeting with administration regarding the RFI. And I wondered whether there might be some update on that project, on the creation of the RFI.
Well, please, if you can continue and give us just your comments or any questions, and then
Sure.
we'll respond to them after your section.
And just as an aside, I wanted to make sure that the members of the commission were fully aware of the status of the prison and the fact that the demolition permit request had been put on hold by the county commissioners. The second topic I wanted to raise today was just informational with regard to the Corson homestead. And that was simply to let you know that the White Marsh Township Art Center, which is a co-owner with White Marsh Township of the homestead, has engaged Claire Donato, an architect with Mark B. Thompson Associates, to do some preliminary conceptual planning with regard to the buildings, in particular the buildings. Addressing the fields, the use of the fields will come later. But I know that on December 18th, the Planning Commission will be hosting a virtual open house with regard to the cross-county trail section that will run through the area adjacent to the homestead. And in fact, part of it is slated to go across the fields And I have let Claire Donato know about that virtual open house. But it also occurred to me that the staff might want to reach out to her as she embarks on this planning process with the White Marsh Township Arts Center. So those are the 2 points that I wanted to raise this morning.
Thank you very much. Scott, do you want to respond to the Erie Street Prison?
Yes, and thank you for your comments, Ms. Ove, appreciate it. And yes, I did get a chance to meet with administration, and we're taking, a greater role in the RFI process. It is in process. There's really nothing I can say right now, publicly, but we're exploring options. And our goal, our perspective, our goal is that this is a successful experience, and we find a compromise that is valuable to both the community, the historic architecture, and integrating all of that going forward. It won't be easy. It won't be easy, but we're working hard towards that, and I'm thankful to be a part of the process as it stands.
I'm delighted to hear that Planning Commission staff is involved in that process. And I would just reiterate a point that I made in my email with you, Mr. France, and that is that the adjacent 1.3 or 5 acre surface parking lot, I hope that that can be included in the RFI, because the combination of the 2 parcels, the prison and the adjacent parking lot, create a potential development site that would be far more attractive to an investor, to a developer, than merely the prison site. So thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate your comments, and look forward to seeing the RFI. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other public comment? I see none. Seeing none, then we'll move on to our first agenda item, which is community planning assistance contracts. And I'm calling Aaron.
All right, good morning.
Morning, Aaron. How are you?
All right, we have 5 planning assistance contract renewals for consideration today. We did 3 last month. We'll do 5 today, and that will leave 5 for next month for the 13 renewals for 2024. Contracts are quickly Lower Southford Township. Claire Warner is the current planner for them. We're doing zoning updates. And we also provide assistance and support, particularly GIS analysis, for their trail and sidewalk committee. Lower Pottsgrove is a flexible assistance. They don't contract for any meetings. So they just ask us to do work here and there. We just currently, and Mike Narkowicz is a planner assigned currently to work on that. And we updated their landscaping standards of their subdivision ordinance. Ambler Borough, Tim Kenichi will be the planner for that moving forward. Chloe Moore was the planner previously. We're going to be doing some subdivision and zoning updates for them. We're also going to be starting a comprehensive plan update for them in 2024. West Pottsgrove Township is another flexible assistance contract, just doing ad hoc work for them. Naomi Grimm would be covering any of that. We suggested to them some West High Street corridor work to improve that corridor and build on some of the work that's been done for the Regional Planning Commission as well. And the last contract is Perkiomen Township. I'm currently the planner for them. They want to update their open space plan at some point, but we're going to start with revising their subdivision and land development ordinance next year.
Who's the planner for West Pottsgrove?
West Pottsgrove, currently it's Naomi Grimm. Again, that's a flexible assistance contract, so we would kind of assign whoever's more available at the time, but currently Naomi would be doing any work for them.
Okay. So before we get into questions and stuff, speaking or the resolution for motion. So before we have MCPC resolution 23-12.1 community planning assistance contract resolution of December 13th, 2023, which contains 5 contracts, contract number 659, Lower Southford Township. And these are all 5 of these have the same length of contract, January 1st. 2024 to December 31st, 2026. Lower Southford's total cost is $68,220, split 50-50 between the municipality and the county. Contract 661, Lower Pottsgrove Township, same contract length. Total cost is $47,754, once again split evenly between the county and the municipality. 663, Ambler Borough, same time frame, $81,864, split once again. 668 West Pottsgrove Township, same length of time, $47,754, split again. 669, Brookhaven Township, same length of time, $81,864, split 50-50 between the municipality and the county. Do I have a motion? Moved, do I have a second? Second. Any comments or questions from planning commission members? Any comments or questions from staff or public? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And we move on to Upper Merion, thanks, Eric. Upper Merion Area School District contract and call on Ann because it wouldn't be a meeting
That's
without
right.
Ann presenting. to
I
us.
took last month off.
Great school. Wonderful school.
I did not have anything on last month's agenda, but today I am here to only present one contract for you to approve, which is to do a school district enrollment update for the Upper Merion Area School District. We last did an enrollment study for the school district in the 21 to 22 school year, so an additional 2 years have passed since then. We intend to get started on this contract as of January 1st of next year. The school district approved this work as of their board meeting last week. And the district share would be $9,868, the 75%, 25% split for a total cost of $12,384.
So before us, we have resolution, MCPC resolution 23-1222, short-term contract resolution September 13th, 20. Is that right? September, it should say December. The short-term contract resolution of September 13th, that should be December
Should be
13th.
December, yes.
Short-term contract resolution of December 13th, 2023. With contract 664 Upper Merion Area School District, length of contract is January 1st, 2024 to May 15th, 2024. As Ann had said, the cost was $13,154, and that was split 75% to the school district, 25% to the county. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Been moved, do I have a second? Been moved and second. Any comments or questions from board members?
Stephen, I was going to ask it at the end of this, but last year, for the past several years, we've had an issue of communities wanting contracts with us, but the question, if we had the staff to be able to handle them. What number are we at right now? And are we still at a point where we're resisting taking on additional contracts?
You're talking about for the community assistance contract?
Yes.
So let's finish up this and then
Okay, I'm
we
sorry.
can go back and ask Eric that question. So any questions on the school district contract?
Hey, Steve, I'm looking at the packet here, and it looks like in the summary for the board, it says that the full cost of the report is $12,384. But in the actual contract itself, it says that it's $13,158.
Yep.
I'm assuming that the contract price is the correct one, not the summary report.
I'll let Ann answer that question.
I thought it was 12,384. I'll have to.
The 986
Oh, I
should be
see.
75% of the total, so we could back calculate that real quick and have an answer.
13,1, I see where the difference is. It's these two extra night meetings that are in there. So the true total cost is 13,158. Upper Merion's cost is $9,868.
So the resolution's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you do 70, yes, 98, 68, 75%. 13,158.
And I hate to interrupt and do anything else, but I just want to clarify and make sure in case we need to restate this, the contract will start on January 1st, or would it be January 15th? I know Upper Merion already reviewed the contract.
We left the dates as is,
Okay.
January.
Thank you.
Any other comments from board members? Any comments from staff or public on the resolution? Being none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Ann.
My next, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
What's up?
What's next?
You are next, but if you
Okay.
could just hold off,
Yep.
because Eric, you have a minute to answer Dulce's question
Yeah,
about
and
the staffing for community assistance contracts.
It really encompasses both the community assistance, but also the school districts, because our same people do that work. We can't take on additional one without the other, correct?
I think the school district stuff is done through county planning, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought sometimes we flexed across on that. No?
No.
Okay,
No, there's no meshing. It's
okay.
they're like medieval towns.
And there's swim lanes. Sorry, guys, and your swim lanes.
We talk, at lunch, but.
I'm just glad.
So we have 34 contracts for 2024. We have 2 current openings right now. We have an offer out. Their deadline to respond is today, so we're hoping to fill one of those. So that's sort of limiting potential new work that we could take on just based on current staffing. If we got up to full staff, I believe we could probably handle a smaller contract, and we're actually in some initial discussions now with the community for potentially working on a comp plan / revitalization plan.
So
they're not-
basically, we don't have a line of people waiting out the door that want our services that we're saying, no, no, no. That's what my.
Not currently,
question
yeah,
is.
yeah, we're in discussions with one that potentially we could take on, yeah.
How many did you say? I'm sorry. It was 34.
34 for 2024, yeah.
Okay. We were up to 36 at one point, right?
We, at the peak, I think we were actually at 37, but yeah, we're at 34 right now. And the ones that have not renewed, we're actually some of our smaller contracts, and Worcester was just doing the comprehensive plan. So once that was completed, they didn't renew, but gotcha.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And you're up next.
Okay.
2040 Advisory Committee.
Yes, so before you today is a,
Question, somebody like spray adhesive over here?
Yes, it's all sticky.
So this.
No, no one did that at all.
Just us.
It was just the 2 of us.
we had.
Is there anybody else area besides mine?
Too.
I just want to make sure it wasn't a conspiracy.
Well, they know you guys always sit there, so that doesn't mean it wasn't a conspiracy. Just saying.
But I'd be surprised if they were trying to do something to dulce it.
Keep us here longer.
That was just spillover.
I gotta be honest, that was not the question from you that I was expecting. All right, so,
I'll try to meet your expectations next time.
great. So I am presenting to you this morning a resolution to create a Montco 2050 advisory committee, but before I talk more about that, a quick update on our Montco 2050 process. Chloe has put together a amazing round table of events for the balance of your time here at the Planning Commission this morning. But we've got a couple of other things in the works. We have an RFP that will be on Thursday's commissioner agenda for approval to hire a consultant to help us do outreach and engagement activities to a more diverse audience of individuals. For this planning process, we got a grant of $30,000 from the state's municipal assistance program to put towards this effort. We'll match those costs. But the idea being that we want to make sure that we are including everybody's voices in this planning process. Chloe has a short summary of the survey responses that we've gotten so far. They're a little lopsided. We want to make sure that we get input from people who might not have been represented in our outreach efforts so far. So there's that. We're also putting together an online platform through a firm called Citizen Lab. They create basically an online spot for not just the Planning Commission's work on Montco 2050, but really any project that we're looking for input on. It could be from our Health and Human Services division. It could be anything, any project where you're looking to publicly display the process that you're going through and have different opportunities for outreach. That requires a little bit of work on our end still, but that will be something that we can use as a tool in our toolbox as well. That being said, the advisory committee is still in the works. The transition to the new administration is kind of slowing things down a little bit, but we do have a list of names that we have submitted to the commissioner's office for approval. And we hope to kick off the advisory committee sometime early next year. So that is what this resolution before you today is for, to create this committee to work alongside us in creating Montco 2050.
Okay, so before we have discussion, we have, before us, we have MCPC Resolution 23-12.3, resolution of the Montgomery County Planning Commission creating a Montco 2050 advisory committee for a new county comprehensive plan, Montco 2050 comprehensive plan for a changing world. So is there a motion? Sorry. A little bit of brain freeze there. So move to have second.
Second.
Any questions or comments for Ann on this resolution? So this is a resolution just to reform the committee, not for any group that's going to be on the committee, because that hasn't been finalized.
That has not been finalized, that's correct.
What's the process for that to occur? You guys put together a list.
We have already put together a list and sent it to Lee for the commissioner's input and approval, but then after that, I imagine that we still have to reach out to these people. They don't know that we have thought of them as potential people to sit on a committee of any sort. So we have to gauge their interest and then set up a schedule of meetings going forward. I anticipate that the first meeting would be a Zoom session early next year, and then we will, set up meetings going forward. I think our goal was to have that second meeting be in person to give people a chance to get to know each other a little bit. But we still have to, let people know that this is a thing.
And there'll be invitations, so, some people may on or not be available or that kind of thing. So we have a long list that will hopefully narrow down to
What's the
30 is our goal.
Sorry.
30 is our goal, right? And I think we have 40 kind of on the invite list, so somewhere between that.
Got it.
And that, just to add, I don't think Ann mentioned, I think there will be 4 board members included in that, those invitations. We did cap it at 4 to keep the quorum issues during that process.
So there's going to be 30 people on this committee?
I would say a minimum, yeah.
There's 40 listed. There's 40 listed. Expecting that they'll get
30. Right. So you're going to have a group of 30 trying to all agree on something?
It was better. It's found that worked well.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're aided, a lot of it will be Zoom. And so I think that will aid that. There'll be a lot of breakouts and, people have their specialties and whatnot. Well, the last comp plan, we had 25, I think, and that was all pre-technology that we have now. And that worked. A lot of it is kind of vetting, is consensus building, is
One of the intentions of Bill 30 are going to agree on everything. I think the idea is to get ideas around
Diversity of
impressions about
ideas.
different aspects of what they're going to be studying in the comprehensive plan, and then formulating those opinions into the findings.
Right, so for example, the last comprehensive plan process, we convened a committee who weighed in on what the themes of the plan should be and what the goals that played into those themes should be. We talked about different policy maps with them. It's for input, honestly, not necessarily for coming to a consensus on anything.
And I'll add to that, I even spoke, the team that ran the comp plan last time that's no longer here, we were just speaking about it recently. That steering committee was kind of the first time they had taken that approach, and it was more of a kind of greatest hits of friends of the playing, people that we knew and worked with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This round, I think we've taken a much purposeful approach towards diversity of opinions, of backgrounds, of experience, and I think that also leads to a bit larger. There's a lot of different perspectives. We try to account for as much as you can.
So the people that you or you are going to be putting an invitation out to have a specialty or?
Generally speaking, I mean, there's always, you know, the people who are kind of jacks of all trades and that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, there's, with all that we identified, you know, where we really, why we were, you know, putting them on the list, what they thought,
Okay.
what we expected they would.
But also,
The list was shared with Dulcie and myself,
Mhm.
and I think primarily we commented on
Yeah.
geographical, the
right,
skill
not just,
set of the
not just
people.
not just the professional diversity, but.
Yeah, the
Right.
skill set or the, you know, not necessarily the individual people, so to speak, but we've kind of just looked at the makeup of the committee to make sure that it was achieving what they had set out, what the staff had set out to do, which is diversity both geographically, experience, culturally, whatever, just to try to make sure that the committee has representation. You know,
So reaching out to the farmers in the western part of the county, because I mean, that's where the growth is going to be.
I don't remember exactly who's on there, but I believe there are people that are representing
Okay.
that part of this. Yes.
Is this a every 10-year process by the planning
Yes.
commission? Okay.
Any other questions on the resolution? Okay, seeing none, are there any comments from staff or from the public? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And we will move on to our, sorry. Yeah, work plan. Paul and Scott.
You.
23 draft, so that should be a 2024 draft work plan, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, this is the 24 program. And you should all have a copy at your station and everyone online, right? This today, we're giving it to you for your review over the next month and in advance of the January board meeting. At that board meeting, we'll have a full presentation of the content of the work program, and also just have an overview of where things stand. The format, I just want to touch briefly though, now, keep you familiar with it. The format is very similar to what we've done the last 2 years when we revamped it. We take the focus topic approach. There are 7 focus topics. They remain the same from the previous year, but then of course the projects change. And the key thing about the projects that are listed is explained in the introduction with the timeframes. We're not only identifying projects that are expected to be completed next year, but those that have longer term horizons. But if it's in here, it's intended to have some progress made over the next year, but it might go towards a long time frame of 3+ years or a medium of 1 to 2 years. Or in the case of short term, those are the ones that are expected to finish during the 2024 calendar year. We are always challenged and always probably biting off more than we can chew. And once again, I think I tried to set expectations and wasn't pushing staff to, you know, identify a whole slew of new projects because I think we have plenty on our plate. And we're still building up rebounding our capacity, which as soon as it gets close to being all the vacancies filled, you know, we get a few changes and still have to deal with that. So that said, all the projects within are also noted if they are new, they're there, or they have an icon on it that says new. Most of those were in the works, so it wasn't a matter of, you know, over the last month deciding we need to find a new project and figuring it out, but it was things that we already had on our horizon or expectation or had a client already existing for it. And then in addition to those 7 focus topics, we again have our signature initiatives, which include big ticket items or programs such as the comprehensive plan, the grant programs, our board services, the boards we administer, and so forth. And then finally, there's also some important items within the community planning assistance program. So all of our local work is summarized. Again, we keep it concise. So we basically seen the top 3 of both the accomplishments and initiatives for 2024 in each community. So Eric section does a great job of putting that summary together. And then in the back, if you want to look at it, the whole appendix is broken down by section, so all of those projects in the back or in the appendix are essentially sprinkled throughout the other work program, but it's just another way of organizing and looking at it by section. I think it's more beneficial to us internally, rather than, your review, but it's there if it helps. So that said, we'll be back in January to look at it. We hope to get, your, approval, I guess. I don't know if it needs a formal approval, but, a consent or make any changes that are necessary. If you do see something as you're looking at in between, I do encourage you to reach out and share if you have a comment or a concern or anything. Knowing before the January meeting might help us to address it, and then we'd be in a position to be able to go forward with it in January. Lastly, the only other thing I want to say is, as with any year, and I'm feeling this more, depending on the morning I wake up, but we are in a transition as far as the administration goes, so we know we might, show up at work on January 4th or January 12th after we talk about this next month, and a whole new program is put in front of us that is driven from our elected officials upstairs. So knowing that potential, we can't anticipate what that might be at this time, but we'll be ready and we'll adjust as needed.
I know over the past couple of years, you've refined this and changed it, and I think it's much better. And I think if you would send this upstairs to new administration, they're gonna, if they take the time to look at it seriously, they're gonna have a much better idea of what we do.
I hope so.
So thank you for putting the time for you personally and the staff putting the time into this evolving process. It's helping me.
Thank you.
So are there any other questions or comments for Scott?
I would just like to thank you for including the organizational chart. Because a lot of times,
It's my favorite page.
yes, I get.
Sometimes it's my
an
least
email
favorite.
From someone, and I have no idea what the relationship is, and this is very helpful, so thank
Wouldn't it
you.
be better if they put little pictures next to each?
No, that's coming, because we talked about that.
But, no, thank you for this.
And so I just had one question, is the draft, where it says draft, is that referencing the whole report, or is it just the photograph of you on it?
Can we comment on that photo? Is that what you're asking?
I did not tell them.
So where you're going with that?
Yeah.
Other than me, I love the display that it shows. We bring that to our events. That's a Mankato event, by the way, and I regret that it's me goofily smiling.
Don't regret, don't regret.
Yeah, but
It's a great picture.
thank you. Somebody enjoyed choosing that one. I don't know.
I think it's like,
The smile.
one thing I just would like to make sure everybody is aware that you are gonna discuss this further in January. So I ask all board members to please give it the time that they put into it, the time it's worth going through the information. So that we can have a discussion in January about the work program. Which does help to guide staff for the year, and their shorter / long-term planning path next year, so. Right. With that, if there's any comments from staff or public on this topic? Seeing that, then we'll move on to the director's report. No, okay.
All right, we mentioned, I think we covered staff news with the open positions. Again, we have 2 community planners, one offer has been extended. And our county planner 1 position is now active or posted. That was Simon's departure last month, really only a couple weeks ago, so that's brand new.
I saw Simon here.
Recently?
Yeah, so I'm down at PAX convention, the 4th game in RPG event.
I'm saying you're hiring a chief, D&D enforcer.
Yes, we actually played a game together. Now, I'm a complete nerd.
I understand what you just said. I don't understand.
I'm a complete nerd.
Well, I understood that.
I'll be looking
PAX
for
is
that.
a board game role-playing game convention that they have in Philadelphia every year.
And you played that game.
I played a game called Call of Cthulhu, which is like Dungeons and Dragons with Simon. And then I also played a miniature game of the Battle of Stalingrad later in the afternoon, if you really want to know. But let's get back to Scott Stiller.
I want a photo of it when I think of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Put that on.
People watching, it's great.
Yes, and then our longest open position, senior county data planner, has really been a struggle. We have a couple new prospects, over the conference, but will help, so we're desperately trying to get that one filled.
Why do you think that is?
IT.
Well, we've tried to, change the recipe a little each time to drive it. We de-emphasized the data part because maybe we felt it was people were intimidated or felt they didn't qualify. So now we're more generalized. We're still looking for someone with a data focus, but a planner by trade. Kind of the Dan Farina mold. And so yeah, that we've played with the titles, played with the descriptions, and just haven't found it yet.
I think it's an employment issue all over, whether you're an architect or an engineer or a planner, or people are just not moving for whatever reason.
IT, especially at my son's at
Yes.
recruiting for IT.
And senior GIS coordinator.
That one is in good shape, although it has been open a while. That's been more my inability to get that processed. We have had a few interviews. We still have a couple more. I've taken it off the posting because we have a plenty large candidate pool and I think some great choices. So I hope to have that wrapped up by January. New position held, new person. All right, moving on, the holiday party, staying with staff news, is this Friday. A few of our board members have RSVP'd. You are all welcome. It is at 1:30 at the Conshohocken Brewing Company, also known as Puddlers in Bridgeport, right over the bridge. It will be our usual festive bar food being at the bar this year. But I know cheesesteaks and such will be offered. And then there'll be the traditional white elephant gift exchange. So if you're coming, feel free to participate in that and bring something either old, new, or repurposed.
No books allowed, right?
Oh.
I've outdone myself. Wait, I've outdone myself.
So as we said, it's at the Contractor Brewing Company in Conshohocken, Bob. So, and I regretfully, I will not be able to attend, as I'll be on vacation this weekend, but.
Do you want to book?
Have fun.
No.
Because I was gonna say, I was gonna give it to him, but I'll give it to you.
You want to give me a board game, I'll play a board game.
All right, moving on, more business. We have a new RDA director, Leah Stanger. She is from DCED, her most recent career. We knew her in that capacity, in that role, here at the Planning Commission. She was often at the DVRPC board meetings as well. A great choice for hire, I believe, and we've met with her already, had a good conversation, letting her know what we're involved in, and wanting to keep that coordination between RDA's projects, as they often enter into things that we're interested in or working with.
She a Montco resident by any chance?
She is, yes, Leavitt-Gruberger, Merion.
Who did she replace?
She replaced Rebecca.
Swanson.
Yes,
Yeah.
who took a private sector job in Philadelphia.
So Jerry Nugent is back in the.
Jerry is relaxing again, I think.
Momentarily.
Yeah. But yes, and she even came in and met with our community planning section, strengthening those links and keeping this coordination strong. Great news for my SRPRA, Schuylkill River Passenger Rail Authority update. Last week, in fact, Friday, it was formally announced by the FRA, Federal Railway Administration, that the corridor, the Reading to Philadelphia to New York corridor, was accepted into the corridor ID program. Officially, you may have read or saw press, it was the award of a $500,000 grant through the Department of Transportation or through the FRA. And That I think only scratches the surface. This acceptance into the Court ID program was really the gateway to a real prospect of establishing and creating this service. And once you're in it, it's not guaranteed, you know, that you're there at the end, it'll be built and active, but the access to all the programs that are going to help with the federal funding, we put it through the IIJA, billions of dollars that have been allocated, and through it with Amtrak, are now in place, and we'll be working through that. We actually had already got a head start on it. We had a $750,000 grant, or Senate appropriation, I should say, that we obtained last year. So an RFP has been out on the street. In fact, we've been reviewing that the last 2 weeks, for a firm that will, or a team that will, initiate the service development plan. So that's probably in all, real quickly, that's about a $2 million estimate process over the next year and a half or 2 years. And we have the 750,000 there, 500,000 from this grant, and then step 2 and step 3 of it will bring more funding to complete that. So super excited and happy for Pottstown, who's been a great partner in this, and for one of the stations, which would definitely be. And great to work with Berks County and Chester County on this as well, in this tri-county partnership with the authority. So we'll keep, you'll hear more news and more releases over the next few months. DVRPC work program, they released that to the public. They'll be adopting it in January. Just a quick note on what the items that we had in it, which I don't have those notes, but the first priority we had was to ask them to conduct a earned income tax educational piece and outreach piece for municipalities, to give guidance and encouragement on promoting the implementation of earned income tax, which is authorized or enabled through legislation. We have 9 municipalities that do it now. In a place like our neighbors in Chester have like about 30. So we feel there's some.
The history on that is that I believe is that for Chester County's open space program, the match was much lower. It was a 50% match. So if you wanted to get that county funding to do your open space projects, you needed that local match. And there was a big conversation when we were structuring our programs, both in 93 and 01, 02, 03. So some of our communities were progressive enough and forward-thinking enough to do that. And is that the purpose, the intent of pushing this specifically for open space or for other things?
I think I think the law enables you to use it specifically to a certain extent for what that is, and so it would be tied to that. We feel the timing, both with the return on environment study from last year, and we're seeking to have a public grant program, lower scale than those referendum programs that you referenced, but utilizing the capital dollars we have towards open space to bring those to the municipalities in a more constructive and equitable way, where everyone has kind of a fair playing field to access them.
Interesting.
That's what they were proposing to the new administration.
Because it can be used both for urban regreening, I think.
Yeah, I'd have to check on
I think we should be really careful
EIT, but yeah,
on that.
yes. Our program, is more flexible. We can decide. Okay, and also with DVRPC, we've been working with our county partners, neighbors, the 5 counties in Southeast PA, to really provide more funding and a better structure for the circuit trails that we're trying to complete. I think we're up to about 450 miles in the region, and trying to reach that goal, get those big missing pieces and gaps filled, not just in Montgomery County, who kind of leads the way, I would think it's fair to say. But places like Delco, who really wants to look at the East Coast Greenway, and Chester County out to Lancaster. Anyway, we all have our singular kind of top priority trail project. The goal is to get them on the tip And DRC has been working with us, accessing new funding programs such as the carbon program. And been a great partner in trying to make that happen. So I'm excited about tapping into those funds and having an outlet to advance our biggest trail projects, which in Montgomery County would be the Cross County Trail is our largest and most impactful priority. Yeah. Real quick, the open space updates, we expect to go to settlement before the end of the year on two projects that you've probably heard about previously, Camp Laughing Waters, mostly in New Hanover, but it also crosses into Douglas. And the Highlands on Sheaf Lane in White Marsh, which was awarded earlier this year. They're both very complex, but a testament to everyone working on it, including the Martin's section, that we expect those, and anything can happen, but over the next 2 weeks, we're hoping both of those are closed. We'll be launching the Montco 2040 grant program pending the budget approval, which is slated for tomorrow's Board of Commissioners. And should that approve as proposed, which we expect, then we'll have another year of 2.5 million to the Montco 2040 grant program. We'll send out within the week. We'll send out notices to municipalities that the ground is open. And we talked last meeting about some of the changes, including a reduced match for some communities in that. So looking forward to that. And finally, I mentioned the new administration transition team, something that was just kind of released publicly, or I first saw it within the last week, is the moving Montco forward on behalf of Commissioner Winder and Commissioner-elect Makija. They have are putting together a number of advisory committees, what they term them, made up of community members. There's currently an online application process. If anyone would like to serve on any of those committees, once you hit apply, then you'll see what the committees are. Like I said, there's over 12 of them. One of them is planning, transportation, and infrastructure. Another is housing, affordability, and homelessness, and a whole slew of others. I don't think it's inappropriate to say if anyone is interested on this board of another free slot of free time over the next, it'll be a short-term commitment because obviously they want to hit the ground running and give guidance to the commissioners over the next first 100 days is how it's framed.
So it's a transition, a committee for the transition.
Right. Now, I wasn't sure if that was going to take that shape or not. I know there have been internal discussions with the current administrative team over the transition. So obviously, as staff, we would not have a part in this, but we eagerly await any word or any invitation. But as board members, if anyone is interested, I'd urge you to take a look and consider if you want to throw your name out there and participate at that level. That's it. We do have, I just want to say, we do have a full board. I don't know if we want to try to get a photo at the end of the workshop. Just because we didn't quite get it at the board tour. We could also do it. We could do it while we'll need 5 minutes to set up the table. So maybe doing it now, maybe in the lobby would work. I haven't talked to anyone about this other than
Before we do that,
resolution.
yeah, before we do that. So I'm gonna ask Jill to come up with me. Jill, come on, Jill.
She's always on.
Not recording picture.
Always on.
So
Why do you?
many of you might not know this, but this is Jill's last meeting, right, Jill?
Yes, it's my last meeting.
So we will be replacing Jill on the board, and in recognition of the work that you've done for the county and more specifically for the planning commission, the staff has put together a resolution that I would like to read out loud. I'll try not to editorialize. Resolution of the Montgomery County Planning Commission in appreciation for service of Jill Blumhart. Whereas Jill was appointed to the Montgomery County Planning Commission Board February 16, 2012, and faithfully dedicated over 11 years of service to the board and the citizens of Montgomery County. And whereas as lead environmental specialist at Amtrak and with former experience at Langen Engineering and SEPTA, Jill generously shared her knowledge and experience, particularly in the field of environmental and sustainable management. And whereas during her tenure on the board, Jill served on several committees, including the Montco 2040 Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, the Montco 2040 Implementation Grant Committee, Montco Awards Committee, and the County Transportation Program Committee, and others. And whereas in addition to serving on the Planning Commission board, Jill also served as Lower Moreland Township Commissioner, bringing her knowledge and understanding of local government issues. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Montgomery County Planning Commission Board hereby acknowledges the significant contribution made by Jill Blumhardt and thanks her for her years of service and commitment to the betterment of Montgomery County and wishes her success in all of her future endeavors. The above resolution was adopted unanimously, not yet, at the December 13th, 2023 meeting of the Montgomery County Planning Commission. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Can she vote on that?
Abstaining.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So, but I just personally, Jill has become a close friend. I appreciated her guidance when I first got on the board, and help getting acclimated. I think her voice and her role on the planning commission will be missed. I do understand the push and pull of family and professional life that caused her to make the difficult decision that she made to step off the board. So I would like to give my personal gratitude towards Jill, and you will be missed.
Thank you, thank you.
And I think this is what was spray fixed.
Yes.
That is all over the line and those things, that's, yeah. So I'm gonna leave you up here by yourself. So you can
Okay.
give your own remarks.
Well, I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Because I'm-
otherwise, Rita's not.
Thank you. Sorry. So thank you for those kind words. I will say, Stephen did become a friend.
Oh.
I will let you know that he delivered groceries to my house in April of 2020 when my son had COVID and we were all in quarantine and I had literally almost nothing left. So that was really nice.
Don't get any other, I don't.
I'll remember that.
That service has space to exist.
And I can always gauge how long I've been on this board because way back when I had my daughter in December of 2011. I was on my way home from the hospital and Leslie Richards called me literally on the way home and said, do you want to be on the Montgomery County Planning Commission? And I was like, sure. But it's been a great ride. I will say I've learned a lot. These monthly meetings have been like, I would say like an education class for me. I've taken so many tidbits of information and tried to share them out with the community. But the staff here, I would say, is just amazing and always on point. And Anne, I'm sorry, I missed your presentation.
I didn't put it in the resolution.
Last week, I was at a school board meeting and here comes Anne, I'm sure with her enrollment projection study. Hopefully that went well in Lower Moreland, but everyone here has been fabulous. It's been a great ride, but it's time to, I feel like it's, when it's time to step off, and I made this commitment to trying to progress my career further as I stepped away from, I decided not to run for re-election for public office. So I think this is like the next step, and Amtrak life is really treating me well and I'm enjoying it, and I'm constantly traveling. So it just really makes it difficult to balance everything, but I've enjoyed my run here, so thank you.
So with that, I think our formal meeting has ended. I know that each board member has been given a ticker tape or